Have you ever met someone who doesn't exist online? In a world where every moment is shared, broadcasted, and scrutinized, it's almost hard to believe someone would choose to remain completely offline. But there are people who do just that. They're not hiding, they're not antisocial. They've simply made a conscious decision to live without the digital audience that seems to define everyone else's existence. Why? Let's dive into the psychology of why some people choose to stay off social media. It's not as simple as just not caring about trends. It's rooted in psychological resilience and personal choice. And it all starts with understanding different types of people who actively choose to stay off social media. The first type of person who doesn't use social media is the self-secure type. These individuals don't crave the spotlight because they already have a steady flame burning inside. Their sense of self isn't tethered to the constant feedback loop of likes, comments, or shares. They don't need social media validation because they've already solidified their identity. The self-secure type doesn't need an audience to tell them who they are. They've spent time developing a solid sense of self-worth that doesn't require outside reinforcement. In fact, for them, social media feels like a distraction from their own peace of mind. They live their lives for their own fulfillment, not for external approval. While others perform for validation, they exist in the truest sense of the word. It's not about indifference to the world around them, it's about independence. They're comfortable in their own skin. They don't need the affirmation of a digital world to prove their worth. It's a quiet confidence. They use technology for utility, but they don't let it define them. Their digital absence is not a rejection of technology, but a rejection of the need for external validation. This self-reliance is the foundation of their mental strength.
Next, we have the privacy protectors. These individuals treat their personal lives with the same reverence that others might reserve for their most treasured possessions. To them, their life isn't a public exhibit to be consumed by millions of strangers. It's a private gallery, only shared with those who matter most. In an era where everyone overshares and lives out loud, the privacy protector values discretion. They know that some moments lose their meaning the moment they are shared publicly. For them, intimacy is sacred. It's not about hiding, it's about choosing what to reveal and to whom. They see social media as an invasive force that diminishes the value of their most personal experiences. They want their memories, relationships, and experiences to remain untouched by the need to perform for an audience. This intentional privacy is a form of self-ownership. They believe that true connection doesn't need to be on display for the world to see. For the privacy protector, silence is not emptiness, it's sovereignty. Their life is their own, and they refuse to allow it to be consumed by the public eye. Then we have the energy conservers. These people have an inherent understanding of social stamina. They know that every like, every comment, every notification is a small withdrawal from their mental energy bank. They are highly selective about how they spend their attention and emotional resources. While others are constantly plugged in, consumed by the noise of digital interactions, the energy conservers understand that true connection requires more than just a fleeting exchange on a screen. They don't need to be constantly connected to feel connected. They prefer to invest their energy in meaningful exchanges, conversations that are deep and focused, not fragmented and shallow. Social media, with its constant barrage of notifications and distractions, drains their mental reserves.
For them, social media is overwhelming. It's not antisocial behavior, it's a deliberate choice to preserve their mental and emotional energy for more substantial, in-person interactions. Their motto could be summed up as fewer conversations, deeper roots. In a world that values constant connection, they've mastered the art of keeping still. They know that quality is far more important than quantity in any relationship. Now, let's look at the empathic absorbers, those who left social media not because they hated it, but because they felt it too deeply. They're the ones who could sense the emotional undercurrent in every post, the envy, the loneliness, the constant performance of happiness. They didn't need to see others' highlight reels to feel the weight of those emotions. For the empathic absorbers, social media is an emotional burden. They feel the emotional static beneath the surface of every post, and it becomes too overwhelming to bear. Unlike the others, They don't mind the digital connection, but they can't ignore the emotional strain it places on their own mental well-being. The constant search for validation, the need to be seen and heard, began to weigh heavily on them. They didn't leave social media to escape the world. They left because they were too attuned to it. For them, disconnecting wasn't about withdrawal. It was about recovery. It was a chance to feel the world without the emotional filter of constant digital performance. And once they let go, they felt lighter, more present, and more connected to reality itself. Finally, we have the mindful minimalists. These individuals are the philosophers of the offline world. They see attention as the most valuable resource in the modern age. Social media to them isn't inherently evil, but it's excessive. They recognize how it dulls the senses, how it numbs the mind, and how it creates distractions that pull them away from life's true joys. For the mindful minimalists, living without social media isn't a rejection of connection, it's a choice to focus.
They see it as a tool that excessively consumes time and energy, leaving little space for real connection or deep thought. So they stripped it away, one app at a time, until all that was left was life itself. The feed is replaced with focus, the scrolling replaced with solitude. They don't need constant updates, they need real conversations. They don't want their minds to be overwhelmed by endless information. They'd rather cultivate a deep, authentic connection in the present moment. For them, being unseen on social media isn't isolation, it's freedom. As we move into the second part of this exploration, let's dive into the concept of digital detachment. This idea is simple yet profound. You don't need to be online to exist. In a world where the primary measure of one's existence is often tied to their online presence, these individuals are redefining what it means to be truly present in the world. They've learned something that many are still coming to terms with. You don't need to prove your worth to be valuable. In a digital age where visibility is often equated with validation, these people have found peace in invisibility. Their detachment from the social media machine is not a rejection of the world. They're not hiding, they're simply living. When someone chooses to disconnect from social media, they're essentially liberating themselves from the constant need to perform. They're no longer driven by the compulsion to post updates, craft perfect images, or curate their lives for an invisible audience. This freedom is something that many of us are starting to realize we crave, but don't know how to achieve. It's not just about walking away from distractions, it's about reclaiming control over one's own narrative. For those who choose to live offline, there's a psychological weight lifted when they stop worrying about the feedback they'll receive on their latest post. They've freed themselves from the pressure to meet others' expectations and perform a version of themselves that may not even feel true.
This isn't to say these people have cut themselves off from the world entirely. They're still connected, but on their own terms. They're not looking for validation from likes or shares. Instead, they choose real-life interactions, in-person conversations, deeper connections, and authentic exchanges that go beyond the surface level. For them, it's a deliberate act of mental self-preservation. One of the most powerful elements of digital detachment is the ability to reconnect with oneself. In the whirlwind of constant notifications and endless scrolling, it's easy to lose sight of who we are beyond the curated images and persona we present online. Living offline allows individuals to strip away all the noise and rediscover what's truly important. This is especially true for people who have become so used to performing their lives online that they forget what it's like to simply be without the need to constantly prove their existence. By stepping away from the digital sphere, these individuals reclaim their time, their attention, and most importantly, their emotional energy. They no longer feel the pressure to check their phone every few minutes or scroll mindlessly through an endless feed of other people's lives. Instead, they can focus on their own life, on their hobbies, interests, relationships, and personal growth. They find peace in the absence of constant digital interruptions. For many, this reconnection with themselves is a kind of mental clarity that they didn't even realize they were missing. And the deeper they go into their offline lives, the more they realize that they didn't need social media to feel fulfilled in the first place. Digital detachment has undeniable benefits for emotional health. When we're constantly consuming content from others, we can easily fall into the trap of comparison. We compare our lives to the highlight reels of others, those perfectly curated moments that are often far from reality.
For many, this constant comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy, loneliness, and low self-worth.
Social media thrives on these emotions. It encourages users to measure their success, beauty, and happiness based on how they stack up against the filtered lives of others. People who disconnect from social media shield themselves from this harmful cycle. By choosing to step away, they protect their mental well-being and emotional stability. Without the need to compare, they can simply focus on their own experiences, without the anxiety of measuring up to someone else's curated version of reality. This results in a more stable sense of self and a healthier emotional state. The emotional clarity that comes from living offline allows these individuals to experience life in its raw form, free from the constant noise and distraction that social media often brings. Now, while there are many benefits to living offline, there are also social costs, at least in the short term. In a world that's so digitally interconnected, not having a social media presence can sometimes make you feel like an outsider. Friends, coworkers, and acquaintances might question why you aren't on Instagram or Facebook. They might ask why they can't tag you in a post or share photos with you. And yes, in some social circles, not being on social media can lead to feelings of isolation. But here's the thing. These individuals have already made the conscious choice that their mental health is more important than fitting into a digital culture that doesn't serve them. They understand that real connection doesn't happen through likes, comments, or shares. Real connection happens face-to-face, in shared experiences, and in meaningful conversations. The people who genuinely care about them don't need to see their latest selfies to stay connected. In the long run, these offline individuals discover that the relationships that matter are the ones built on authenticity, trust, and shared values, not on a digital feed. And while there may be moments where they feel excluded from certain social circles, they also realize that quality is far more important than quantity when it comes to relationships. They've chosen to invest in deeper connections that are far more fulfilling and lasting.